Hello everyone, this is Debbie Henderson from Debbie's Designs. Welcome to my weekly afternoon tea time and a card. I'm just going to give it a few seconds. I can see you guys jumping on. Welcome everyone. Just want to make sure I can see you. So today I'm going to be using the Snow Wonder stamp set along with the Snow Time dies. And before I do that, I wanted to announce we have a lot going on starting today. Hello everyone, I can see you guys. So for those of you that are customers of mine, I received my catalogs in the mail today. I always send one to myself just so I can gear when you guys are going to get yours. So they should be arriving any day now. I live all the way in Maine and I got mine, so yours should be coming soon. Now the stamp set that I'm using along with the Pool Party striped ribbon are on the last chance list. I wanted to make sure to remind you of that. The last chance list are all the products that are retiring from the mini catalog. And what's great about the set that I'm using, I'm just going to go to the back here. So the dies are normally $33. They're 20% off for $26.40. And the ribbon, let me see, I just found the ribbon. I want to oh, right here. Pool Party striped grosgrain ribbon, $7, 10% off for $6.30. And not only that, the month of December, I always give everybody 20% off on their orders, just as a thank you for being a customer of mine all year. So not only will you get the discounted price on the dies and the ribbon, I am also giving you 20% off on your order. And the way this works, once a week, I'm going to send out checks for the 20% discount after you place your order. You need to use this hostess code so that I know that you're part of my discount. And I'm also going to add a free card, a homemade card from me as a thank you. So make sure if you place an order, and it has to be $50 or more, make sure you use the hostess code when you check out. Okay, so these are the 3 dies I'm going to be using. And I'm also on the first card, I'm doing 2 cards tonight using the stamp set and the dies. And there are 2 card folds. The first one uses the Whimsy and Wonder designer paper. Now the side that you see here all has silver foil. You can see how shimmery and shiny that is. And then if I flip it over, you have these beautiful colors on the back. I think you guys have seen me use this quite a few times. It is one of my favorite packs of paper. At the end of my class today, I'm going to be drawing 2 names. The first name will be for the cards that I'm creating, and the second name will be for the gold and rose gold metallic specialty paper. I'm going to dig this out so you can see it if you don't have it. So you got the rose and the gold, and look how pretty. I think there's 8 sheets. I gotta check. 8 or 10. Yep, there's 8. 4 of each color, so 8 total. And I will tell you what you need to do at the end. So the first card I'm creating, I'm going to leave this right here so you'll know what the hostess code is. This is the first card. I'm using the black embossing powder. This is a corner tuck fold. You can see that it untucks to open, and then this little flap tucks on the inside. So that's the first card I'm going to create with you tonight. I'm using Pool Party and Versamark inks. And I have quite a few blend markers. I have the Magenta Madness Light and Dark. I have the Color Lifter, Granny Apple Green Dark, and Pool Party Dark. I'm going to be using the black embossing powder. And then let me bring in all my card pieces. So I've got Pool Party 11 by 4 1/4. And what's really neat about this, let me bring in my paper cutter because I need to cut this at 8 1/4. And I'll show you what's neat about it. So 11 inches, I did score at 5.5. I'm gonna cut this off at 8.25. So there's 2 pieces. The piece that I cut out goes right here, so no waste. So let me go ahead and fold that on the score line. So again, this piece that I cut off, I'm just gonna turn it and glue it right there. So let me, now I have a lot of layers on this card. Let me start out with the basic black. This one is 5.25 by 4. And these 2 pieces, you need 2, I think they're the same. Yeah. 2 pieces that measure 4 by 2.5. We have basic white, 5.25 by 4. And another piece, 3.75 by 2.25. And then the designer paper that goes on the side flap. That's the same as the white, 3.75 by 2.25. Now what I did with the corners, they're already cut because when you do your corners, you're actually going to cut 3 squares. You're going to cut them in half diagonally and you have enough for 2 cards. So the pool party one measures 2.5 by 2.5 and then cut diagonal. Basic black is 2.25 by 2.25. And the designer paper is 2 by 2. And I've already gone ahead and cut and stamped the sentiment with the die from the die set. Okay, that's a lot of layers. So I'm gonna start by stamping both pieces of the basic white with the snowflake image. And on this one here, I just kind of did a frame around the edge so that you could add your own sentiment in handwriting. I'm going to start with that one. One thing to remember, you don't want your snowflakes to all be facing the same, so make sure you turn your snowflakes or your cardstock. So again, and there's one missing right there. I'm just going to go around all 4 sides just to create that framed look. And you guys, we have a new catalog that's going to start on January 4th. And as demonstrators, we get to pre-order from it today. So a lot of orders going out today. Okay, I'm going to stop and glue this one on the inside. Oops, wait a minute. I need my black. I thought, oh no, that's too small. Get the black layer that goes first. Then we're going to add the white. And then on this flap, we're going to glue one of the black layers. So the biggest thing about this card is getting all the layers cut. Once everything's cut, you just kind of glue everything in place and it goes quickly. There's that pretty designer paper. Now I'm going to use tear and tape to glue the triangle, but I'm going to glue them together first. And I did it so that the edge is right on the edge of the pool party. And same thing with the designer paper. So again, it's kind of neat that you cut these once into squares and then you have enough to do 2 cards. And we're going to add tear and tape on the 2 straight edges, not the diagonal. You want to be able to tuck that in. I'm just reading the comments. Okay, is there confusion? Am I on the wrong page? No, Stampin' Ink Designs. Okay. It looks like a little bit of confusion there. So you guys, I'm live on Fridays on my business page, and then I'm still here on Wednesdays. Okay, now I'm gonna add a few snowflakes just on the top in the sky area. That's all I'm gonna do on that one. So now I'm gonna glue the black to the pool party. Lots of layers. And then the snowman and the trees I'm actually going to emboss. I'm going to be making a little bit of noise. And then we want to glue this to the flap. And we only want to add adhesive to about 1/3 of the card. And I'm adding a lot just because of the tucking that we're going to do in the corner. We don't want that to fall apart. So now this is all ready to tuck inside that corner. Okay, now let me grab a piece of white, 2 pieces of white. We're gonna do the snowman and the trees. And I'm gonna do that with Versamark ink. And most times when I use Versamark like this, I like to stamp from above. There's my trees and my black embossing powder. So there's the trees. Now we're going to do the snowman. Tap, tap, tap. And I'll be using the same snowman image on card number 2 also. Okay, now I'm going to bring my heat tool in. So this was actually a stamp set that carried over from last year that was very popular. So this will be the last time you'll see it in our catalogs. Okay, this powder is starting to melt. And I always hold it up to the light to make sure it's nice and shiny so I didn't miss any spots. Same with the trees. Now look at the difference between the powder when it melts. Look how much darker it gets. Okay. Now Lori is saying she didn't think about embossing. I like to do the black embossing sometimes when I use the blends markers just because it just looks so good when you're done coloring. Okay, so the trees are really easy. All I'm going to do is pounce the color very quick. Okay, that's all I'm going to do for the trees. Now for the snowman. One thing you have to remember about embossing when you use your blends markers, though, you have to be quick because this can actually eat through the embossing. So that's why you see me just tapping. I'm trying not to drag too much because it does. I don't know what other word to use other than it tries to eat through the embossing powder. So don't color. Don't swipe back and forth. All you need to do is just pounce. But look how nice that turns out when you color it with the embossing. Okay, now I have the dark. I'm just going to add a little bit of dark. And lastly is the pool party. And again, I'm not dragging my marker, I'm just pouncing. And I'm kind of following the shaded areas that you see with the embossing. That tells you that's where the the shadows from the light. Oh, you know what I forgot? I gotta grab an orange. I forgot his nose. Let me grab an orange. Okay, so I've got pumpkin pie for the nose. Now, the reason I have the color lifter, if you color and you feel that the edges are too strong, I usually put the color lifter on where the edges are, and it softens the edges. Okay, look how cute. Now I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine. I almost said Big Shot. My little mini. Now let me move these so I don't ruin my cards. And the first one I'm going to do is the tree. And I'm going to show you a little tip in case you've never heard this about our little die cutting machine. So if you put your plates in and you put them all even on the end, you're going to have a hard time cranking that through. What you need to do is actually stagger this about 1/2 inch. Put this one over and you'll see right here, see the beveled? So when it goes through, it's actually going to squeeze and it's going to go through so easy. See how it just grabbed it? Okay, there's my pretty little trees. Next is the snowman. So I'm going to do the same thing. Oh, I forget to color my holly leaves. I can just see that right now. So again, I'm going to stagger that by 1/2 inch. Put this in and it grabs it so easy. Okay, I'm going to leave this right here because I'm going to need it for the next one. And all I've got left to do on this card is to glue all 3 of these. Let me get my dimensionals. So what a cute little scenery. Now, before I glue my snowman, if you'll notice, he's holding the sign. And what I did so that I could shove the sign right into his hands, I actually took my scissors. I snipped right here between the 2 branches. And I also snipped right here. I'm going to glue him in place, and it's going to make it easier for me to shove that sign in there. Okay, let me see. I don't need one right there because the tree is going to be in the way. Oh, that one has the backing off already. Okay, so that's going to go right about there. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive. Oh, this was take 2 on the back. I'm using the liquid so that I can position the sign the way I want it. So you'll see now that this will fit right inside where I cut. And again, right inside where I cut. See how that works? So there's card number 1. So let me open this up. And I'll bring that back in at the end. So let me put this aside and I'll get set up for card number 2. Get pretty layers for card number 2. I got a blending brush. This time, oh, I like all the hearts, you guys. I'm glad you love the card. This time, instead of embossing, I'm actually going to be using the Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Let me see what else. Okay, and this is where I'm using the ribbon. I'm going to be adding Smoky Slate Light to the markers that I already had. Oh, before I forget, I'm going to color my little holly leaves. I totally forgot. Okay, that one's done. Okay, this is card number 2. There's the belly band. And then this paper that I'm using, let me bring it in. It's the Peaceful peaceful place. Now, when you look at this, you can see the sparkle of the snowflakes in the background. And these sheets on the front, again, have the foiling on them. I hope you can see that. They're such pretty papers. This is the one I used on the card I just showed you. Snowflakes. Some pretty wood grain. Some little splatters, and then this pretty one. And then if you flip it over, it's the non-foiled side that has all the gray and white. This one is just trees, little cabin. And instead of using the one with the little snowflakes, now you notice all of the paper was gray and black and white. I colored this with the blends brush just by sponging. And when you sponge over the foil does not take the color. So look how pretty. It's still shiny and I love it. Now let's go ahead. We've got Pool Party 11 by 4 1/4. Let me bring in my scoring tool. We're going to score that at 2 3/4. Make sure I get the right blade on both sides. So I'm going to turn this over 2 3/4. Whoops, I started my heat tool. Now this is called a gate fold because it meets in the middle, just like a gate. And I put a piece of white on the inside. I didn't do anything with it yet, so I'm going to glue that in place. And you guys, I'm really tired of making Christmas cards. We've been making Christmas cards now for, I'm trying to think when our mini catalog started. So this might be my last Christmas cards. I need to move on to something new. Okay, let me bring this in so you can see it. Now we have 2 pieces of basic white, 4 inches by 2 1/2, one for each flap. I have some of the new products from the new catalog that's coming in January, and I am so ready for Valentine's and other things other than Christmas cards. Okay, there's the white. Now, I gotta find my pad of paper right here. So this time I'm using this pattern, and I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna use the Pool Party ink just to add color. And you'll see the difference once I have one. And you could do any color as long as it peeks through, the gray still peeks through. So look at the difference. Isn't that pretty? So there's one. I remember doing this with a stamp that we had like this, and I had done like a bright, like a flirty flamingo that was gorgeous. Red would be pretty too. Like a poppy parade. Okay, there's my 2 panels that I sponged the Pool Party ink on. So now I'm going to glue those in place. It's a shame to cover this up, but I love this pattern. Now, because I'm anal, and I know most of you guys are, I would not want to put this facing. I want my squares to be the same. So pay attention when you do something that has patterns like this. I want to make sure that they match on each side. Okay, there's that. This is the belly band. It's 11 by 1 1/2. All I'm going to do is not even measure. I'm going to put this right here, press down with my bone folder. And you want to make sure that it's loose enough so that it goes up and down. Now it's not going to be long enough to reach. these I cut from the Hippo and Friends dies, so it would be the second one. I have two because I'm gonna add glue to the underside on the ends. I'm gonna put this like so. And then I'm gonna glue this one on top. It just makes it more sturdy. It's like a sandwich. A cardstock sandwich. Oh, I forgot my ribbon. That's okay. I think I had it. Oh, I had it over anyway. I did not goof. Now I'm going to wrap the ribbon around the whole thing. I'm going to tie a bow. And then all we have left to do is the snowman. So these would make, even though I have Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas on these would make great thank you cards for after Christmas. Or winter cards, if you want to send somebody a winter card. I need to make this a little smaller. Okay, now let's move this over right in the middle. And I normally add just a glue dot, just so it'll stay in place right under the knot. Now let's go ahead and do the snowman. And again, I'm using the Memento ink this time instead of the embossing. And here's my little sentiment layer. Okay, now let's get my pad. And we're going to color using the same colors. So now, because this is Memento, I can actually swipe back and forth. Because Memento is made to use with the blends markers. Again, I'm just going to add some highlights with the darker color. And we've got the nose, the holly leaves. I've got the smoky slate for the hat. And lastly is the pool party. So again, I'm just following the shaded areas. A little bit more right there. And I'm going to bring in the color lifter just to soften those edges up. And you'll find that if you do this, you don't see the results right away. It dries slowly and it softens those edges as it dries. Okay, so I'm going to cut one more time. And before I do that, let me do the Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas. That way that will dry as I cut. Okay, one more time. Make sure I get this lined up perfect. I'm going to stagger my plates. Run that through. And then we're going to glue, and we're going to this time I just tucked the sign under the arms. Now I don't want to add my dimensionals too low because they're going to go below the die cut. So I'm going to add them about a ½ inch from the edges. It's going to go right here. And then we're going to add the sign with liquid glue again. And this time I'm just going to go under the arms. I just wanted to show you how you could cut on the other one. Just a different way of doing this. Okay, and there's card number 2. Let me move all of this stuff aside. I'm going to bring both cards in. So again, there's the belly band. So this is the first card with the belly band off. This is the belly band on. And the corner tuck. Okay, I hope you like my card. So it gives you a little variation. So what is your favorite snowman? Do you guys like the Memento ink or do you like the black embossing? I don't know, they're both so pretty. Okay, now I'm gonna draw for one of each card. Someone's gonna win that. And then I'm gonna draw for the rose gold and gold paper. Is it shimmer paper? Metallic specialty paper. So starting now, oh, I gotta write down 2 numbers. Hold on. Let me write down my 2 numbers. So thanks so much for joining me, everyone. I will be live again on Friday on my Debbie's Designs page. And I have 2 more card folds. I've been into card folds this week. 2 really neat card folds, 7 p.m. on my Debbie's Designs page. Thanks so much for joining me tonight and have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.